So we were just talking about what amazing condition my 10-year-old Mercedes is in, and I take a rock to the windshield driving home. Son of a bitch. So my deductibles are too high to think about just, oh, let's replace the windshield. So I'm going to try to epoxy this thing in some way, shape, or form. I thought I could get a vacuum pump on the back side of this, but it's so tight to the top of the dash. I just can't get in there and put any kind of bagging materials in there that I have. So I'm gonna keep thinking. So I tried to get in there with a couple different suction cups from heavy duty suction cup mount things, for one for a phone, one for a camera. Great little suction cups, but there's no room to get anything in there. It's just so small. So what I have here, this is vacuum bagging tape wrapped around a 1/2-inch plastic hose. And I'm hoping this will seal well enough. This is running back and into a pretty significant vacuum pump. So I should be able to pull some vacuum on this thing, even with big leaks. So here's my gauge. Okay, sorry I'm upside down, but let's give it a shot, see if it pulls anything. Alright, well that is just crap. I need to be able to pull some kind of vacuum. So the epoxy I'm using is this, AdTech whatever. I've been using this stuff on carbon fiber products for a while. And it's supposed to be up there with West Systems and all those whatever, so hey. So I am not pulling much of a vacuum. Like, the gauge is maybe moving a PSI, so I don't think I'm really pulling anything. I have dripped a little bit of epoxy on here, and that is just a lovely reflection. And I don't know if it's really sucking down in there at all, if it's going to do much of anything. But I'm going to keep playing with it. I'm going to keep the vacuum pump on, just in case it does something. So it occurred to me, I really need to get some flow here. I need to get into the inner layer of the windshield, because you got glass, plastic glass, and all I'm doing is kind of covering the outside. So I've been kind of working my way in there, just kind of heating up this needle. And it's been taking very fine little pieces of windshield out of there. So I'm hoping I can keep digging to where I can at least get into that plastic layer and get this epoxy to flow inside there a little bit. Yeah. It's going to have soot in there. It's going to be all sorts of pretty. I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but why would I be studying for an interview? Yeah, there's a concept for you. Come on, baby. I know you wanna. There we have some soot buried in epoxy. Sort of looks kind of okay, but yeah. We'll see if this gets worse. This is just kind of hokey. I don't know. That may be my imagination, but it's been about an hour and a half, and I think a lot of these cracks have actually filled in pretty good. So, might be doing some good here. Right on. Had the vacuum going the whole time. I keep kind of scooping off the bottom. It drips down. Then I drip more across it. Screw with it some more. Yay. So here we have my blob of epoxy. After pulling my vacuum tube off of there and my tape. It's actually not bad. I'm gonna see if I can actually sand and polish this maybe. I'm gonna let it cure like at least a day, maybe two, before I even think about sanding it. Well, let's see how it does. Back with my jerry-rigged little epoxy fill job. I've been sanding on this, and I'm kind of sanding the windshield, which I didn't want to do, but started with 1500 grit. I'm using this little little body file for my sanding block, and just kind of going in here. Little water, little scratchy, a couple different directions. So I've been doing this, I don't know, 15-20 minutes. You know, it's flattening it out really nice. Obviously going to have a fair bit of polishing to do. But, you know, I think overall this is coming out fairly decent for just homebrewed dumbass in his garage that somehow can't avoid taking damage to the new car. I did some another 10 minutes worth of wet sanding with the 2000 grit in my little block. I don't have anything finer other than these 3000 grit pads that they're just big, way too big for this little thing. So I am going to try a medium cut in this. See what happens. Whoa! Okay, I just dumped shit everywhere. Yay! Son of a bitch. Of course, after all that sanding, polishing, etc., I have found that I can get rid of a lot of this stuff with a razor blade and then put myself in a position where I have to sand and polish again. So I have these big areas that are coming off with this, and do I want more epoxy to try to hold the cracks together? I want less epoxy so it looks better. I don't know. Alright, get that little piece off of there. Oh shit. Yeah, that's what you get for like dollar store freaking razor blade holders. There's something wrong with that logic, huh? Yeah! Well, how much was the hospital bill? I'm gonna call this good. I went ahead and I did some more scraping with the razor blade, some more polishing. I'm thinking that's pretty good. Let's see if I can get a reasonable view here. Okay, I have lost myself in all the freaking goddamn lights. I swear. How do I block that damn light? So it looks like I got some fill, maybe sorta light scratches from earlier sanding, but you know, overall, that is my chip. That is kind of all right. I'm good with that. Righteous.